lights a blur, heart beating like a drum. Tonight we paint the streets till the morning sun.
Hi everyone, today I'm bringing you another cityscape in a loose style. With this one, I'm actually very proud of how I was able to capture light on the main building in the focal point. I also bought a new brush. We're gonna try this brush today, and it's quite a big boy for the format I'm gonna be using. It's also brand new and stiff, so let's bring it back to life. Here I'm trying to mimic a tabletop easel. I've already ordered one, but it hasn't come in yet, so in the meantime I'm improvising with my daughter's books. I think I will never use anything else than a phthalo blue for the sky. To me that's the perfect sky color, but I feel like I need to experiment more with adding clouds or maybe do an evening sky with some purple hues. Yeah, that actually sounds like a great idea. Anyway, now I'm using Verona Gold Ochre and I'm putting it all over the building. I probably sound like a broken record, but once you find something that works, you stick with it and keep experimenting only with the things that didn't work. This paint is perfect for the parts that are in direct light, so I keep using it. And I also put burnt sienna in the parts of the building that will be in shadow. I'm mixing a little bit of olive green and sap green to fill in the first layer of a tree. Some imperial purple to suggest the mountains in the distance. And then I'm mixing my browns with neutral tint, and I'm using that for the road. The dome on this building has a slight purple hue, so I'm trying to mimic that with quinacridone purple, and the first wash is officially done. Now I'm doing my favorite mix of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, and this time I'm also adding a little bit of burnt umber, and I'm going to work on some details on the building. And here I'm mixing my previous color with a little bit of purple that's also left on my palette. And I honestly think it created a very believable shadow on this building. I'm actually very proud of this exact part in my painting, and I think I will experiment with this mix in my other paintings too. Shadows are always extremely difficult, and if you're struggling with them, always write down mixes that work and don't work so you can keep track, because I don't know if that's just me or everybody is like that, but I have a memory of a goldfish. And if I wasn't filming what colors I was using, I wouldn't be able to remember them for the life of me. And here I'm darkening the ground floor a lot, and truth be told, I don't like it. I still haven't come up with a good solution for the lower parts of buildings that are in shadow, and I should definitely practice this more. I think what I should have done is made this part darker, but not that drastically dark because it looks way off right now. Like my building is actually cut in half or something like that. And by the way, I mixed Spiral Scarlet and Alizarin Crimson for the awning, and I'm using Phthalo Blue for shadows. Now I'm making my usual darker mixture of burnt sienna, ultramarine blue and burnt umber, but this time I'm darkening it even more with neutral tint because I'm going to be using this mix for the buildings that are in shadow on the left. I used burnt sienna for the rooftops, and then I decided to spray this area while it was still wet, and it made this fuzzy effect that I had in mind. I think it's a great trick for buildings that are not in your focal point, and I actually like the outcome as well. I went with watered down phthalo blue for the shadows on the sunlit part of the building, and then with a dark brown mix for the ones that are in shadow. I added undersea green to the mix I previously used for the trees, and I'm finishing off this area with it. And now I'm creating an even darker mixture of brown with burnt umber and neutral tint, and I'm deepening the lower part of the building even more because previously it looked very flat.
Yeah, we're reshaping the game. Got a rebel yell, a rhythm in my soul. Gonna rewrite the rules, taking back control. We're the renegades, electric in the night, breaking all the barriers, taking flight, igniting the shadow.
And here I'm trying this technique of smudging paint to create a sense of movement. Alvaro Castagnet does that a lot in his paintings, and I really like this effect, but I need to practice it more because I realized that I need to have a much thicker amount of paint on the paper to achieve it. I can also do this with a dry flat brush, but again, I really need to figure out the proper ratio of paint and probably be a lot bolder with it because my layers tend to dry really fast. For the car, by the way, I used straight up indigo for the upper part of the trunk and then connected it with neutral tint. I'm creating an impression of a door and windows with a dark mix. I used indigo and neutral tint for that. And now I'm just adding a bit more detail here and there that would help to read this building and its structure a bit better. I'm also putting in windows in the distance and on the house on the left. Here I need to be careful with my values because they need to be much lighter than on the main building.
Tonight we paint the streets till the morning sun. Can't hold me down, gotta break these chains. Gonna chase the fire, yeah, we're reshaping the game. Got a rebel yell, a rhythm in my soul.
I'm finishing off the painting with my figures, and I'm not very good at making these tiny figures. They always look off to me. I think I'm much better with bigger and more detailed figures like in my other paintings, so maybe I should either try to paint on a bigger format or crop my scene so it would be more about the people rather than the buildings. And if I focus on the buildings, I should not probably include people at all. I don't know, because right now in this composition people read more like ants and I really don't like it. I do final touches with gouache, and I think it's always a good idea to use gouache to bring back highlights that you might have missed during the painting. And that's it. To sum it up, I think I did a pretty nice job with the building, minus the ground floor. I think it reads very well and it also has a very nice sense of light in it. I'm okay with the building on the left, but I should have done a lighter road and a strong cast shadow from that building. That would have helped a lot, I think. I don't like the cars and figures. They are bad, but I keep practicing and I'm sure I will get better with time. And that's it. If you like my content, please consider subscribing and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!